a hard-working person who has my own business. 21 years ago, I started a business based on an invention, and it kind of took off. And it was a hobby, but it's gone worldwide. And I've been very passionate and enthusiastic about that. And it's all in the printing industry. But it's not all about earning the money and kind of getting that freedom. I think it's the other things it's allowed me to do, such as you know, write 2 books, and then I'm going to write another book, and I want to involve your story, and also what I can do for the family. I've got certain different hobbies. I'm a volunteer for an organisation, a charity called Bullies Out, which I'm very proud to be a volunteer. I'd like to kind of go further and support kind of charities a lot more, and I'm very keen to always see what you're doing in your song and your music. So things like that really excite me, where people use their gifts, their ability to try and do something than just survive, to try and use something of what they've learnt in whether it's business, music, or life, to try and help other people. So that's what I strive to do. I have thought long and hard about how music has changed my mood and changed my life in certain periods. So I can remember back to many times in my life where I can remember certain songs that have meant something to me. So it is special. And there was one aspect that really bothered me when I was younger and being bullied. And you and I have talked about domestic violence, and we both know people involved in that. And I look back in that period of my life and I thought, you know what, this really affected my life, not necessarily in a negative way as it did, but it also in a positive way. So when I got to a little bit older in my 20s, I started to kind of use it to try and fuel my determination to do something else, and not kind of be held prisoner by what happened in the playground when I was physically bullied and mentally bullied. But I kind of shrugged it off a bit, or thought I did. But when I looked at my business story, I think it had a lot to do with my success and my drive.
Make up your own a new story. Push far away your worries. You just deserve a better life. So you've been left alone with all that you believe. No one wants your love, and nothing that you could give. Yes, you're in a car. That time will change your life. But it once again just simply passed you by. No one deserves to have that life. No name, no voice, that's what you are. Make on your own a new story. Push far away your worries. You just deserve a better life.
So I kind of took interest in this organisation called Bullies Out because it kind of resonated with me. I was connecting with people through social media, through LinkedIn, through Facebook, and I came across Bullies Out, and I got really involved and interested in wanting to give something back, because it involves domestic violence and also children being bullied. And I heard that within a short period of time, I think 2 months, that they'd actually saved 2 people's lives by drawing alongside them and giving them encouragement and building up their confidence. And they literally saved 2 lives, and that really spoke to me. So when I wrote my last book, Bullies Out, and it's about case studies about how people have been through awful things in all kind of different areas of life, I thought rather than me make any money or profit from that would be wrong. So I wanted to give it to Bullies Out, who are a great organisation. They're based in Cardiff, and I went over to meet the people there. Linda, who she drives it. She's a great person, and we got on really well. And she was delighted that I'd come on and try and volunteer. I've been to a couple of schools and I've done some talks about my experience, and it's nice when people listen. And it's amazing how many people go through kind of pain and sadness, and how you can reach them with your message. So I'm just getting into some of that. when I can help somebody and talk to them and pick up the phone and talk to them, I feel so empowered, and it's very emotional and touching. But I'm not very good at if somebody comes to me to offer me help, because I feel like I've got to be the one to help them. But I'm sure there'll come to a time when I'll need help, and that will mean a lot to me if somebody draws alongside me. But I just like helping people, and it does make you feel good and empowered, and I can give it back in spades to try and help people.
Today, obviously, we're speaking about the empowerment through music, because Sounds Like Women, we are music and social project, and we empower women and girls from around the world through music and a lot of music-related activities. And then when you were in a situation in your life when you felt oppressed, when you were bullied, because you said you had that kind of period in your life that actually directly affected your adulthood, right? And actually empowered you in a way, empowered you and inspired to be who you are today. Amazing adult, right?
Yeah.
So in that time, was there any musical influence? I know you said you're not a musician, you never really made music, but that's even more interesting to me. Like, was there any musical influence? What was your actual relationship with music in that time? Did you listen to some particular tracks that spoke your stories? Did you reach for them and they helped you at any point?
When I was younger, I was a different person. It's a bit hard to kind of articulate, but the same kind of person, but because I didn't really have a lot of confidence, and I was I noticed when I was younger, it was kind of during the like the punk era, if you like, after David Bowie's kind of period of time, although he was a big influence on me, and I'll talk about that later. But it was very much these kind of people, and the words that they sang meant a lot to me. They connected with me because I felt like maybe I'm not really a rebel, but maybe I'm misunderstood. So when the messages came from certain groups, and I can remember one. This was when after I left school, but the Boomtown Rats. Probably not everybody would remember them. The messages like I don't like Mondays. That song. It just meant that people, there were children at school being fed up. There were disasters happening. There was, it's a very sad song, and songs that talked of pain and maybe rebellion kind of resonated with me a little bit more. Whereas now, I think it's more kind of inspirational songs. It's changed, but back then, because we're talking about when I was younger, it was just something that was looking at me in my situation, who maybe felt a little bit hard done to and a little bit oppressed. So we're talking like punk rock. I was just talking about it with my best friend at school. I think we were 12 years old, and well, even before that, we were around about 12 years old. He talked to me a lot about David Bowie. He had all his records, because back then it was records and vinyl. And I used to go around his house and he'd play me certain songs. And then I really got into David Bowie, and Heroes was just fantastic. And it told me that you can be a hero just for one day. And things like that made me feel like even if it's for 5 minutes or one day or 1 week, you've been a hero. You can reach the top. You can come back down again, or it doesn't really matter. So that's full of inspiration.
These songs kind of spoke your story in that time of your life, right? They were you were tuning into it, right?
I think so. And I was tuning into a little bit of the frustration that these songs came, and the rebellion that, if you're misunderstood, that there is a channel where you can be understood, even if it's through words in songs. The music is really shaking me and moving me in a different way. And something that I have to tell you, it's S Club 7, and it's Reach for the Stars. When I was very young, I went to an invention fair with some products, and there was about 250 of us all trying to show our inventions. And they used to play Reach for the Stars, and all of us used to just punch in the air, go Reach for the Stars. And people say to me, what songs inspired you? And I have to say it was that. I know it's not a normal kind of answer, but when you see people in the aisles, all the different inventors jumping up and down, go Reach for the Stars. I'm a bit embarrassed to say that, but it's such an inspirational.
Don't be embarrassed.
No. It's stuff like that.
And then I sighed. Oh, 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 oh. side.
Have you ever played any instrument or even tried to play an instrument?
I've tried to play the guitar, but it's a little bit harder than I thought, and I didn't stick at that. And I've had a little go on the drums, and we have somebody who works for us who's on the drums, so who plays the drums for a different group. If I listen to something, I listen to the message, and I like it for a different reason. But I couldn't get involved in kind of how you make up a song or reading music, and I thought it's a lot of effort for somebody who's not 100%. Maybe I could have gone that way, but I just didn't. I probably went a different way.
You writing now third book?
Yeah.
It's third.
This will be the third book. Yeah.
Third book.
So yeah, and about that book, Louisa, I think you're, after meeting you and what you're doing with the song and what I've heard, that's a fantastic thing, because to me, I think that's the final component that's going to make the book, make people notice the book, because we've got a young person who's been through some stuff herself. I've not met her yet, and I think she can feel the song as well through what she's been through. And also the young girl whose story it's about, who wrote the song in the USA, I think she'll be crying when she hears it, because it's such an emotional song, and I think it's such a vital component of the whole message of being oppressed and bullying. And it's a bit new to me, and the more I get into the music side of it, the more I feel inspired and touched. And I can understand, a lot of my best friends are really more into music than I am. And maybe now's my time to try to appreciate and listen to the words. But I was moved by that song when I saw the words. But when you brought it to life, when I heard the first kind of demo, the first piece that you did, it really touched my heart, and I was very, very proud, not just for me, but for everybody involved. Since I've met you and I've looked into music and I've thought about, trying to help put a song together or try and find the right people like you, I've realised I've gone through the emotions of seeing the words, not just as I read them, but being brought to life. And it is very emotional, and I've seen that, and it's certainly really, really powerful.
What would you think you might do at your work? How could you apply music?
I feel like it could be a channel when we go to exhibitions and I think, there's always some sound or music involved, and something inspirational to start everybody up every day has always been, I think it's making me feel that I've got, maybe I've got my talents or my innocence is kind of used up in putting words into a book. Not always the greatest words, but hopefully words that flow. Maybe I can see music with different eyes and bring it to life in different ways.
Speaking about music and working with people who are not making music, and working with a person like you who loves music and understand music, who sees music as a sort of vehicle of delivering messages, right? Because that's what music does. Yeah. it's a pleasure. It's something completely refreshing and fantastic.
I can spend a year writing about something, and I'm thinking, I need somebody to encourage me and help me through this. But my payback comes because I think I'm very focused. I'm thinking when it's finished in a year and people read it, okay, I put some really, it's a bit like a song. You can put some emotional bad stuff in there that made you feel terrible. It can be a story about bullying or any adverse situation. But my feedback comes from when I get somebody sends me a message, social media or an email saying, Graham, I felt just like you, and look at how you are now, and I was so far down there, and now I've read your book and you've inspired me. So that builds me up, and that gives me so much confidence, and I think, you know, it's worth the year of sacrifice. But what I do now, Louise, and this is what's changed from when I was younger, is that I do listen to the words. I hang on to the words and listen to the messages, not just the melody and the lyrics, and not listen to whether somebody's got a great voice all the time or not. It's just the way it kind of picks me up in the morning. So if I listen to something a bit upbeat, it can really change my mood if I'm feeling a little bit, you know, like the day's not going to be great.
When my fate is up in the air, disbelief traps me in its snare. When I count on myself to bear the shaky future at which I stand, I tremble, I crumble down, 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 down on my. Keep me falling down on my knees. I'm begging you, please, down on my knees. Keep me falling down on my knees. I'm begging you, please, down on my knees. I'm falling. I'm bleeding. I'm crushing. I'm diving. I'm crushing. Crashing down.
I always like to be inspired by a song, and sometimes it's I think every story has a kind of a starting point, which might be a low point, and a middle, which might be a place where somebody struggles. Then I feel the end should be that little bit where it turns better. I can be very reflective on that, and I can think about it. But if there's that glimmer of hope at the end of a song or the end of a book, that makes me think, you know what, I might have been on that journey, but I can gather something out of the final message. Then that's what really inspires me. So between us, Louise, and what you do with Sounds Like Women and what I do and with Bullies Out and other people, it kind of makes it more interesting. There's a bigger, the jigsaw has got lots of pieces that fit together.
Writing books as you do and writing music, it has a lot of synergy, right? It's a very, very similar thing. We still speak of stories, right?
It is. Yeah, the message. Yeah, definitely, the message is in there.
Yeah, we're sending messages. We're speaking someone's stories or our stories, and we obviously sharing the emotions about it, sharing some conclusions, and perhaps giving people thoughts to think about. But okay, so the question is, what writing books? What sort of skills, except writing, taught you?
Discipline, because it sounds corny, but you know, there's no gain without pain. You've actually got to give up time, knowing that what you're doing in that moment is not going to kind of give you any gratification. Nobody's going to say well done, or so it's taught me. And this is a natural thing to me, is that sometimes I might in the inventions world, I might create a product, and it might take 3 years for somebody to actually have it, to use it. So I have to kind of have a vision for the future. So if I write a book, my vision is not about the next day. I just know the next day I've got to write a few hundred words, and I've got to do the same for a whole year until then we've got to go through an editing process, which can be painful. But at the end of it, I just think about the end game of the person that's going to be reading that book. And I guess that's the same with a song. I don't see all of what you have to do in order to get something out there. There's a lot of hard work that goes behind it, behind the scenes. So I really respect that when somebody's gone to that effort of doing it all in, quietly, that when it comes out, you've got to listen. We live in a world where you want instant results and instant adulation. And I've learned just to wait.
Some sort of pill for everything right now. You take a pill, and there you are, right? But
we know if you want to be good at what you do, you've got to kind of you've got to do the hard work and the hard graft, and it's not going to be done in 5 minutes. What you've done is not in 5 minutes. What I do is not done in 5 minutes.
Do you have any kind of dream, some maybe unfinished business? Maybe you would love to learn something more about music. Well, if that's so, what would that be? Let's imagine if you could learn something about music, what would it be?
Okay, you want me to be honest? I'll tell you. I'll give you the inner heart that I've often thought on and off is I'm down on myself I'm very self-critical about my ability to sing. So if I go to a church, I'm mumbling and everybody else, well, some people mumble and there are some good voices, but also there's some confident voices that are not necessarily good, but I respect them because they're confident. So my confidence on singing a song is really low. So just to test out whether I feel I've got no rhythm, I've got no voice to sing a song. So what I'd like to do is one of my on a wish list would probably be, can this person who can't sing, can I actually sing? It's something that I think is impossible, but I know that impossible things can be achieved. So I would never tell anybody like that, but because you've probed, it would be, can I actually sing? Which is what I'm getting at, which is the bottom line.
I can tell you right now, you can sing. If you can speak, you can also sing.
The other thing, I'd love to be able to write a song. I wouldn't know where to start, but it's always been intriguing. How do you put a song together? Well, that's your skill. So I admire what you do. So anything I can learn from you or you from me, or, what our circles of people is all really good for me. I respect everybody's ability.
I just had Tracy Graham, a survivor of domestic abuse, who never wrote her song, even never wrote any story before, but we did amazing song together. We already wrote her song for recovery. And
that's great.
She can't do that, but we did it in the studio. So believe me, that all is possible.
In fact, no, I can.
That's right.
Yes, I died, I cried, I fell down to the floor. But now I'm new, I'm stronger than before. So goodbye, I'm finally free. I'm better without you, better without you. All I've been through meant to be, 'cause I'm stronger without you, stronger without you. I'm standing on my own, I'm finally fighting back. Now I have found my voice, now it really feels right.
And I feel inspired by what you do, and I feel inspired by what people say to me if they, like I said earlier, who read my books. It's just there's no better feeling to know that you've helped somebody, you've changed the way they live a little bit or the way they think. See if I can put some words together in song and see where that goes.
Yes, we're gonna do it. So, Graham, it's been absolute pleasure to have you, and I could talk with you like for days because you're such an inspiring and interesting person, and you've got so much to say, and so do I. So
no, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, Louisa. I've still got a lot to learn, but I'm really enjoying the journey so far. So it's been great to be part of this. So Thanks for inviting me.